The Charity of the Week, brought to you by Kell Properties.
Pamela Shinwell, MBE, I should say. It is very lovely to have you with us this week. And you did tell us earlier this week how this whole society started essentially because of one man. Tell us about your husband, your former husband. Tell us about Derek.
Well, he was a lovely person. We met on an aircraft one day. I was flying as an air hostess and he was a regular passenger. And for a year, he was on many flights, but never talked apart from saying good morning, and that was all. And then I was grounded. I had pneumonia and I was grounded for about a month. And first flight back, the same man was on that flight. And this time he said to me, "Would you consider having dinner with me one night on one of your stopovers?" So I obviously said yes. He said, "I'll send a car for you," which he did. And we had dinner. And that was the beginning of a love affair. But we had two lovely children, Fiona and Tanya, and a lovely life living in the Isle of Man. And then I was raising funds for the Ramsey Hospital. I was doing this fundraising thing at the Palace Hotel with a fashion show and Boodle and Dunthorpe the jewellers as well. I remember having £1 million earrings put on my ears, and I've never worn earrings before. Wow. After the meal, after the fashion show, the two doctors who were there, they wanted to talk to me, and they said, "We noticed during the meal that Derek was having difficulty with his food and dropping the odd thing, and we wonder if he's in the first stages of Parkinson's disease." Now, I didn't even know what Parkinson's disease was, but they asked would I take him to see them, and they had a consulting room on the promenade in Douglas. And I made the excuse I was going there because of my back to be looked at. So I told Derek that I had to go and see this doctor, and he came with me, and they examined my back. And then, before we left, he said, "Derek, just put your arms out to me." And he took his hands, both hands, and he said, "I think you could be in the early stages of Parkinson's disease. We must get it checked." And that was the beginning of Parkinson's disease for Derek.
And how long did he live with it for?
30 years.
30 years.
Yes. Yeah.
And obviously everyone's journey is different with Parkinson's, isn't it? That's the thing. But I suppose because of this, you had first-hand experience of living with the condition. And as a result of that, and no doubt as well because of the reputation you had already for, sort of fundraising and being very much a member of the community.
I did a lot of fundraising for things.
Yeah. And so you were approached, weren't you, to set up
by the doctors ringing me that day out of the blue.
To set up the society.
And I know exactly what I said. Why me? As they said, you know more about living with it than we do. And it's true. I do know what it's like living with it. It's not nice. But now the help is out there. And I think the medical people do everything they can to help.
You in the years that you created this society and you've been working with people, you have been able to help an enormous amount of people here. And when you reflect back on it, it must make you very, very proud in some ways. And especially thinking it all started essentially with Derek, didn't it?
It did. It did. And as you can see, he was a lovely person. Very quiet, very handsome, very nice.
So it is Parkinson's awareness. This is the reason we're talking to you today, Pamela, and all of this week as well, giving out information about the fabulous society and what you do here. But if there's someone listening who either has a diagnosis themselves or has a family member who's going through the condition themselves, what sort of advice and support and encouragement could you give to them?
Well, I would say I will be happy if they ring me and tell me what they're having to go through, because it is difficult. But if they ring me, I'll try and help, try and guide them. Or if they want help, Vicky Travis, the nurse, is wonderful. She's very good. But if you're worried and frightened and wonder which way to go, I don't mind you ringing me, and my telephone is there.
Do you know, you must have noticed such a difference over the years since you started this society, from even just mentioning the nurses there. The landscape has changed in a positive way because of the Parkinson Society, hasn't it?
I think so, yes. They know they're not alone, because it can be embarrassing for people.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to make life as good as we can and help them.
The Charity of the Week, brought to you by Kell Properties.